So, coming up, I have a beautiful couple that's here to talk to us and play music, and that is Bettina Maureen and Narayan Das. And Bettina is an internationally certified sound healing practitioner, teacher, traveler, unique musician, and shamanic practitioner with accreditation in sound, voice, and music healing from the California Institute for Integral Studies. She has an amazing voice, and she teaches people how to sing, and she does sound healing, and she's going to tell us all about herself in a moment. And we have her partner, Narayan Das, who picked up a guitar in 2013 after he met Bettina in a sacred prayer circle where she was supporting with music. He was so inspired and impressed by what he heard and felt in that circle that he made it his intention to play music and be in service to the divine. So, I'd like to welcome both of you. Hi, Bettina. Hi, Narayan.
Hello, Taj.
Aloha, Taj.
Okay, great. You have to talk a little bit close.
Okay.
So, it's so nice to have both of you here.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a brand new CD.
We do.
This is so exciting, and it's called Ceremony.
Yes.
So just to get started so people know about it, because they're going to hear it shortly, where can they get this CD?
Well, you can get it online at www.maureenji.com, MAUREENJI.com, and there's a link there to our Bandcamp site. And then we also have physical CDs, so that's a digital download. We have physical CDs here on the island, so somebody could email us or contact us. We're also at the Kilauea Farmers Market on Saturday mornings with our kombucha, and we always have CDs there. And then we're doing a concert on March 10th as of now. It could change to the 11th, but March 10th at the Eternal Flame Sanctuary, and we'll have CDs there.
Oh, great. Mm-hmm. So, well, maybe I should play one of your pieces first, and then we'll talk. So,
all right.
Hold on just a moment. The name of this piece is the second one?
Yeah, it's the second song. It's called Tierra. It's in Spanish, and it's about the earth. And it's about generating love in our hearts to be able to love this planet and our fellow human beings.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So it's sort of a call. You know, it's a...
vos nos guía al Creador. Somos divinos, seres misteriosos. Somos el flujo de los ríos, paz en la tierra, linda verdad, paz en tu corazón para la tierra, tierra mamá, yeah. Somos guardianes de la paz.
So this is the second cut on their CD ceremony, and we're going to talk right now to Maureen and Narayan. So how did the two of you get together to actually become partners and musical partners?
Well, we actually met at my sister's cabin in Middletown, up on Cobb Mountain in Lake County, of all places. Very small. Most people don't even know what Lake County is when you mention it to them. So Bettina was traveling from Ibiza, Spain, and she was doing a sound healing course in Oakland, and a mutual friend of ours had put together a meditation circle, and I was supporting in that circle, and I didn't know Bettina was going to be there. I showed up a little late, about 10 minutes late, and she was there with her sitar, and the facilitator had saved me a seat right next to her, and so I walked in, and we were sitting next to each other, and the guy handed me a drum, because you could see that I really wanted to be involved, so he handed me a drum, and I just started drumming along with her. We hadn't even met yet, and then afterwards I just was like, wow, I was blown away by her music. I'd never heard anything like that or experienced anything like that, and so I wanted to do everything I could to attach myself to her and learn how to do these songs and play that music. So
Yeah, he did.
So were you a musician already? Had you been playing anything?
Not really. I in elementary school, I played the trumpet, and then I picked it up again in 11th grade, and I played for a little while, and I had some, self-taught percussion.
Right.
But that was basically it, So I had some rhythm, and I could read music, but I had never played guitar. And
Wow.
so, yeah, I just picked it up, and I was so inspired. I picked it up, and I just picked one song, and I played that song over and over for like 4 months until I had it perfect. And then Bettina allowed me to start going to gigs with her and playing,
Wow.
put me up in front of people and getting my chops up.
So how long have you two been together now?
About 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your guitar playing is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And then how about you, Bettina? How did you, first of all, choose the sitar as an instrument? It's just not your normal instrument to choose.
No, I think it was more that instrument was choosing me rather than me choosing it, because I didn't have that in mind. I was in my 30s. I've been a really devoted Ashtanga yoga practitioner, and so that journey took me to India, Varanasi, and that's where I found the sitar. I went to see a concert, Indian classical music concert, and I fell in love. And I think I fell in love with the sound rather with the Indian classical music, even though I adore the music. And I haven't had the wish to really play Indian classical music. Even I studied that for a couple of years to just enter the instrument. And then I just made up my own style of contemporary playing the sitar.
Yeah. And were you already singing when you went there? Or is that something that was developed?
I just started singing a little bit in singing circles, just some mantras. And I have been really, really shy around my voice. And I felt very uncomfortable sitting in that singing group and singing these songs. But I felt really happy to be there and to listen. So I was just sitting there listening for a year, and then I slowly started to sing along. And then I went to India, and when I came back, the sitar helped me to really open my voice more. So it has been a bit of a process to actually start singing or using the voice and expression.
But you've gone really far because you do sound healing with your voice and the instruments. So that's, you know, really taking it into your heart and then wanting to share it with others.
Exactly. Yeah, I experienced that period in my life. I had some physical issues I had to confront myself with, and I grew a lot out of it. And that's when I got into sound and voice and music healing, because I experienced a lot of support in my transformational way of, you know, healing my physical body, aligning my physical body, and that's why I wanted to study and eventually share this with people, to give a method out which might be helpful in daily life.
Yeah. So could you give us an example of what, if someone was going to come to you, let's say you have someone, I mean, you can give us an example of a client and how that would all work so people can, you know, hear what would happen for them.
Okay, so there are two methods I'm offering. One is an active method and one is a passive method. So the passive one is somebody's coming for a sound healing treatment. Okay, so I'm inviting that person to relax onto the massage bench, and then I'm gonna, you know, work on that person with my voice and with my hands. I studied Sikhem, which is, you know, form of Reiki, a little bit more ancient, and so I developed that method of basically it's just working on the nervous system. So the people are relaxing, and through that they get inspiration or intuition about what is it I have to take care of. So I'm not there healing people.
Right.
It's the sound and the method which is inspiring people and open them up to actually see what's going on, and they see it themselves.
Right.
And then the more active method, which I have a lot going on right now, lots of people coming, is to learn how to open the voice, how to free the voice. And so it's not classic singing lessons. I do a little bit of music theory and, of course, how to use the body to express the voice. But it's also free toning, becoming more clear within speech. Some people come to me and say, nobody ever really listens to me. And so we work with that by, okay, so how much is my hearing developed if I have to confront this? And so, yeah, it's a tree with lots of branches.
Yes.
And I love it.
That's great. So you can work with people on all different levels.
Whatever is needed individually,
Yeah. So how long have you been doing that?
I started doing this actively, let's say, in 2007. Oh, my God. Yeah.
It's 10 years almost.
Yeah.
It's always a surprise, isn't it?
You're getting a little older here. Yes, nearly 10 years.
Yeah. So what do you, like, you two have your own spiritual path that you're on, because this kind of work is also a spiritual path, wouldn't you say?
For sure. Yeah.
And you know, what is like for you, what is the thinking or the practice of your spiritual path that connects with music?
Well, for me, my spiritual path, you know, I've always been searching and reading and on a quest, you know, since my early 20s. There's got to be some reason for life and all of that in general. You know, and that eventually took me into, I picked up a Bhagavad Gita in 1991. I think I was actually in a drug rehab, and went to the library in town, and I saw this really beautiful book. It was very ornately, I didn't know anything about it, so I picked that up, brought it home, read it.
So do you want to tell people what the Bhagavad Gita is?
The Bhagavad Gita is basically the Hindu equivalent of the Bible. And so it's very scientific and formulated, and I read that and it just appealed to me. I read it in about 3 days, and
it's pretty fast to read that book.
It is, yeah. I had a lot of time on
yeah.
my hands, so you know, I had a lot of time to sit. So I read that book, and that kind of sent me in the direction of Krishna consciousness. And then in 1994, I went out to Big Island in 1992, and I met a lot of devotees out there. And then ended up back in San Francisco in 1994, kind of out of sorts and nowhere to go. And I checked myself into the Hare Krishna temple, And I lived there for a year, and that's when I really started practicing and chanting. And, chanting japa, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, totally changed my life.
I bet.
After about 3 months of chanting the mantra religiously, no pun intended.
I know. So wait, but even with that pun, so what does that mean? Like, how often? How are you thinking? Because this is actually a great conversation.
Yeah.
You hear about chanting a mantra. Okay, does that mean you? What I see is sitting and chanting for an hour is great, but like really chanting is like making it like all the time, as much as you can daily.
Yeah.
So how was that for you?
Well, in the temple, we have really rigid rules there. And so we'd get up at 4:30 in the morning and take a cold shower with a soup ladle because we don't waste the water, right? And then we'd come down into the temple about 4:45, 5 a.m., and there'd be about 5 to 6 of us devotees in there. And we would all sit against the wall, and we have our japa beads, 108 beads, and we do 16 rounds a day. 108 times 16 takes about 3 or 4 hours. So we start 5 o'clock in the morning, and so we're all sitting in the temple, with the deities there and the garland and the lace, and it's just such a beautiful scene. And so you've got 5 or 6 monks all sitting up against the wall, and we start chanting this mantra. And
are you chanting the same one, or does everyone have their own?
No, we're all chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And in the Hindu belief, you have to chant the mantra out loud. You can't chant it to yourself, and it's all about the sound and the vibration that it creates inside of your body. So there'd be 5 or 6 of us chanting this mantra. It's like Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, like that. And so the whole room would just fill up with this low vibration of all these men.
Right. Even with 5 or 6 people, it's going to fill it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was so cool. And so it's already really deep, just beginning. But, after doing this every day, and then we wouldn't get all of our rounds done before breakfast. And then, so, we'd have breakfast, we'd have study, and then we'd have some free time. And then during that free time, we have this little bag that we were around our neck with the japa beads in there. And so for the rest of the day, we have our hands on our japa beads inside this bag. And so everything that we're doing, whether we're walking down the street or talking to people, we're doing this mantra in our heads, for the rest of the day.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's really neat. So, it's just very scientific. I mean, if you take anything and start chanting it in your head like that, you're going to erase everything else that's in your head. So it's just it's science. You're getting rid of all the internal dialogue inside of yourself, which, for most of us is usually negative or fear-based. And so, Hare Krishna actually means I dwell within the, what does it mean? I live, within the spirit, within the divine spirit. And so you're chanting this mantra, and of course it's in Sanskrit, and that's a powerful language. It's all vibratory. And so this mantra just started taking over after about 3 months, and then I couldn't stop chanting the mantra. It just ran by itself. And so for a year, this mantra was just running in my head when I was having conversations with people, when I was talking to people, in the back, is and it just changed my life dramatically, all the way down to what I see out of my eyes in this reality. Things became so clear, there's nothing you can take to get that kind of clarity,
Okay, you have to hold that thought, because I just have to do a little thing here. You're listening to KKCR Hanalei, KAQA Kilauea, and up next is Indigo with Omnitorium. So now we're sitting here in the studio with Narayan Das and Bettina Maureen, and we're talking about their music and their life. So, okay, so let's go back to the Hare Krishna chanting. This is really interesting to me also, because when you were chanting in the beginning, Sanskrit and the tones are important, but you're not Hindi and you're not Indian and it's not natural. So how did it feel to be saying those words that at first you have to be translating in your head before there's ownership of them? How did that process go?
It was really natural, because we would do kirtans every night. And so, then the kirtan is singing the mantra. And so it's really easy to learn something when you sing it. For me, that's the easiest way to memorize something. So it was a song first, and then it became a chant. And, and then it was just part of the rules, and all the other guys were doing it, so it was easy to just fall into that and the discipline.
So it just works its way into being part of you And for me, it's, the understanding of the words that you're saying so that can actually really enter your heart and your being.
Right. Yeah, it means I dwell within a reservoir of pleasure. Those are the words I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I never heard it said like that. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the 90s, I tattooed it across my wrists, Hare Krishna, which is kind of every time I go to make a gesture with my hands or stick my arm out the window, I see either Hare or Krishna on one hand or the other. And, so it kind of reminds me to
be that.
To be that, yeah.
Oh,
to live within the reservoir of pleasure. Yeah. And then, so from there, I practiced the devotion and the heart, and it wasn't so much about the music. And then when I met Bettina, that was the first thing that she noticed about me was the devotion and the heart and the willingness to be in service. And then she wanted me to learn how to play the music because, she told me at the beginning, she said, she said, I played with some really accomplished guitar players. And she said, it doesn't matter how good you are if you don't have the heart, and it's flat, And so she said, you've already got the heart. Now you just need to learn how to play the guitar.
Oh, that's great. So then for you, Bettina, how did your path, come forward to having a spiritual path of your own in your life from your youth? Where did you come from?
Well, I'm coming from a very non-devotional family. I grew up in Germany. Actually, I was born in New York, and I grew up in Syria, in Damascus. The first years of my childhood, I had my first memories there. And maybe that also influenced a little bit what happened later to me. Just, Damascus, Syria in the 70s, it has been a beautiful time. And so I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I listened to the devotional songs from the mosques and as a little girl. Right.
Okay, so what are those devotional songs you're saying? So people who don't know what that is.
Oh, it's about God. Okay, so in the Arab countries, you call the people to get up and pray.
Arab songs.
Right. So it's like 5 times a day. That one.
Yeah, I think there are different songs each according to the day time, but I remember very, very good sunrise. And the songs, and as a little girl, I had no idea what these songs are about. Okay, what I could feel was the vibration, and the whole city woke up through that vibration of the voice of the singer. And I think this is something really important. What I discovered because I developed that love for Hebrew songs and the Hebrew language. And even I haven't been to Israel and I started to listen to these songs without knowing what they meant. Lev Tahor, Lech Ali, they are all traditional songs from the Torah. But the melodies and the vibration of the language within my body just blew my mind. I mean, blew my heart, my mind, my body, everything. Wow. Okay, and then only later people say, do you know what you're singing about? I said, I have no idea. Okay, and at that point, I didn't really care. Of course, then I got the translations, and I'm not a religious person. I'm coming from a non-religious background, and maybe that's why my spiritual path opened up so quickly, because I have been searching for something similar like Narayan, like what is it all about? And so when I left Germany when I was 28 and I came to Ibiza, which is a small island in the Mediterranean Sea in front of the Spanish mainland, I totally fell into the Ashtanga yoga practice. I mean, really intensively. And then I traveled to India and I found the sitar. And it always has, for me, what happens is the connection between mind and body, and how to make that connection, and how to develop a practice each day, which keeps me present. And so meditation, yoga, and song, I think it became a combination of these three, which until today I'm practicing. I'm practicing meditation, I'm practicing my breathing, my voice, and so now I'm a Vipassana practitioner. I just came back from Thailand. I was close to the border of Burma, and I was sitting for 10 days in a monastery, and that's my delight. That's just
10 days of silence and quieting the body and the mind. That's beautiful.
Yes, and purifying, right? It's and I think in these times on the planet where there's a lot going on, obviously, I feel more and more called to go inside, to breathe, to purify, and to develop my compassion and love for myself. Yeah, and to have that vertical alignment. And
then you can assist others
exactly.
in a big way. You can really hear.
Exactly.
Well, we would love to have you play a piece for us, something live.
Yeah.
What would you like to do, and how can I help you set up? Do you want to?
I think we're gonna play Adonai Ori, which is a Hebrew song, and and it's Psalm 27, and we can read you the translation here if you like. You want to read that?
Okay. So the Adonai Ori, the translation is Lord is my light. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When evil darts assail me to eat up my flesh, my adversaries and foes, it is they who stumble and fall. Though an army encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war arise against me, yet I will be confident. One thing have I asked of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life.
Beautiful. All right, so this is Narayan Das and Bettina Maureen.
You hear that guitar okay? Adonai Uri Eishi Mimi Era Adonai my Hosea Mimi Bikov alai mererim lehoret besari Sarai behovai Hema kashelo benafalo In tachane alai machane Lo yura libi In takum alai Nichema besotani Oteach Adonai Uri Ahat sheti me'et Adonai Otavakesh Ahat sheti me'et Adonai Otavakesh Shifti bebe Adonai Koyame Haya Shifty Bebe Adonai Koyame Hayam Adonai Adonai Ori Beishi Mimi Efa Adonai my Hosaya Mimi Efa Bikrov alai mererim mechorete tzari Sarai vehovai Hema kashelo venafalo Im tachane alai machane lo yiravi Im takum alai Vichema besodani Boteach Adonai Ori Ahat Sharti Me'et Adonai Otavaker Ahat Sharti Me'et Adonai Otavaker Shifti Bebe Adonai Koyame Haya Shifty Bebe Adonai Koyame Haya.
That was so beautiful. Wow. So before the concert or the where you're going to be performing in March, we'll have to have you back play
Yeah,
another
that'd be
song
great.
and then to let people know exactly the date of it. So maybe the first Sunday in March.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then because who really wanted to be here with us today is Will Lydgate, who
Yes.
produced this record, and so he's on the Big Island and he couldn't be here, and he became part of the band while we were recording with him, and he told me to let everybody know that he wants to be here.
Yeah, and Will is an incredible bass player as well,
Yeah.
besides producer. So for people, if you're interested in learning about sound healing or want a session, you can connect with Bettina by calling 808-346-7645 or going to her website, which is maureenji.com, which is MAUREENJI.com. And you can find out about their CD online as well as in different places. And they also are at the Saturday markets, and they have a kombucha line that they do called Lighthouse Kombucha, which is delicious. And they also will have their CDs there. But maybe we can get one more, a little bit shorter song to do before we have to be off. We have like 8 minutes.
Okay.
Can we do that?
All of our songs are about 7-8 minutes.
Okay. And is there anything else that you wanna share, before we listen to your next song that might be helpful for people and what's going on in their lives with sound or your music?
Well, what I can only talk about my own experience, and I experience life like the ocean. So there will be big waves and small waves, and sometimes it's very, very calm, and it's never going to be the same. Okay, so So I have this longing for always being in peace and in harmony, and then something's happening in the life, and I'm not in harmony, okay? And then I start to get really frustrated and annoyed. And when that happens, then I actually connect to my breath, and I'm choosing a song. I don't even have to sing that song. I don't have to be a singer. I don't even have to be a musician. It's just about reciting something that's beautiful, because it's about vibration. Okay, so if I'm reciting something, even just a few words inside myself, that's where the transformation starts.
Yeah, it doesn't have to even be with sound, but what you're feeling inside with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just keep coming back to just be, just surrender, let all the thoughts go, let all of your plans go. And just be, that's so hard for us to do. We should just let everything go and just be. But really, truly, we're not living our potential in our life if we have an agenda, if we have a plan. Because I think by our own understanding, by our own doing, we don't know what we're doing. I mean, if we can stop our thought processes, and we do that through chanting and singing, and that's the most important thing about this. The music that we do is we stop our thought process, we get our ego out of the way, and we open our hearts. And that's where we should always be living, I think.
Well, and that's an interesting thing. You say ego. Well, ego, one of the ways we describe ego is edging God out.
Ah, nice one.
And so when you feel like, you're trying to make the journey happen, it's when we're actually not listening.
Right, yeah.
So, okay, so what are you going to play for us? Oh, and you're going to play sitar.
Yeah.
I think my queen?
Yeah, we're just going to play a song in English, and this is a song from my last album, Lullabies for the Soul, and I recognize so many people like it, and for me it's kind of an old song, but we're going to play it, and it's dedicated to the plant kingdom, to nature.
Great, thank you. Narayan and Bettina.
I feel you inside me. Your dance takes me above. I hear your song. Melt with me in love. Love, colorful ocean. Your weight is mommy, a world of golden hearts and fire. My queen, Rainha da Floresta. My queen, Rainha da Floresta. Dai, 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 dai. Dai, 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 dai. Dai, 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 queen, my queen, Rainha da floresta, my queen, my queen, Rainha da floresta, lai dai dai da, lai dai dai da, lai dai dai da, dai da, lai dai dai da, lai dai dai da, lai dai dai da, dai da.
Oh, that was so beautiful. It's just having the sitar and the guitar and your voices in the room is so beautiful and pleasant and relaxing and perfect for the end of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tosh.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
It's fun being here.
It's really fun to have you. And thank you for telling your stories.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You know, it's really nice. And this beautiful Sunday, listening to KKCR, and people are out there watching football. So probably when you leave, it'll be like the quiet roads, because I think the game starts at 1. Or
It's Super Bowl Sunday?
it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, wow. Good day to surf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, perfect day to surf. Everyone will be at home watching TV.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do when I get out of here.
Yeah, so I look forward to seeing you. We'll see you the first Sunday, which will be the 5th, I think, in March. So put that on your
Good,
calendar.
okay.
And listeners, come listen in, and we'll have some live music again.
Wonderful.
All right.
So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a
Thank you,
beautiful
Pat.
day. And thank
All
you,
right.
listeners, for joining me. We'll see you in 3 weeks, the last Sunday of the month.